Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Matt. I am your host, Matt Taylor. Today, I am going to teach you how to make a homemade cinnamon raisin bread. I really love this recipe. This is my mom's recipe, and kind of a neat little story. When I was a teenager, I used to make this bread, several little loaves of it, and then my mom would take them to her work and sell them for a couple dollars a piece, and that's how I earned money for my Christmas, for shopping and whatnot. Pretty cool. So this recipe is dear to my heart, and now I'm going to show you how to make it. Let's get started. For the tools and the ingredients, I have one large bowl. I have two medium-sized bread loaf pans. These are 8 by 4. I have a basting brush. I have a fork. I have a little bowl here. I have 1/2 cup of sugar. I have 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and 2 tablespoons of sugar mixed together in this little shaker. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I have 1/2 cup of butter. I have 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast, equal to 1 packet. I have 1 large egg, 1 cup of raisins. I have 4 cups of bread flour, or you can use all-purpose flour. And I have 1½ cups of milk. First, we need to warm up our milk. This is what we're going to put our yeast in. And I'm going to put it in the microwave and start with 30 to 40 seconds and see how warm it is. We want it between 105 and 115 degrees. Okay, once our milk is heated up, we're going to go ahead and take our yeast and we'll put that in there. And then we're going to take just a little bit of our sugar, just about a teaspoon. Put it in there, and we'll just take the fork and let's just mix it around a little. And what we're going to do is, this is called proofing the yeast. Okay, and then we're just going to let it sit until it gets foamy, 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, and this is how it'll look when it's nice and foamy. Great. Now we know that our yeast is active. On to the next step. Next, we want to melt our butter. We'll do this in the microwave. We'll start with about 20 seconds to 30 seconds until it's nice and melted. Okay, now we start mixing it all together. We're gonna take our butter and we'll put it in here like that. All right. We're gonna take our sugar and we'll put it in there. We'll go ahead and give it a good stir with a fork or a wooden spoon. All right. We'll go ahead and crack our egg. Put that in there. Okay, we will take our yeast and milk, put that in there. Okay, now let's start to add the flour, just a little bit at a time. And now at this point, I'm going to add our salt. Scrape the sides periodically. Okay. Add some more flour. And then at this point, I'm also going to add in my raisins. Keep stirring. Okay, we'll add some more of the flour. And then we're going to leave probably about a 1/4 cup of the flour left, and we're going to add that in as we're kneading. Okay, till it's about like that, and then we're about ready to start kneading. And you may need more than 4 cups of flour. It just depends on how it works in with your dough. So let's go ahead and take this over to the counter and start to knead. Okay, let's go ahead and take a little bit of the flour. Go ahead and take our dough. We'll pour out our dough. Okay. Take some more flour. We'll just put that right there, set that aside. Now use your fingers to scrape that off, like that. Get some of this flour. And we're going to go ahead and knead the dough for 8 to 10 minutes. And how you knead it is you fold it towards you, push down with your palm, turn it half turn, and do the same thing. Fold it towards you, push down with your palm, turn it, fold, push, turn it, fold, push, just like that. And if it gets more sticky, you just add some more flour. All right. And if your raisins start to poke out, which they will, just go ahead and you can push them back in. Doesn't matter. And just continue to knead. It winds up being about 4 1/2 cups total of flour. But again, it always will vary. So always start with just the 4 cups at first. All right, our dough is finished kneading. Now what I did is I got this bowl and I just put a little bit of canola oil in there. You can probably just use kitchen spray. And I'm just gonna mix it around the sides here. And we're gonna take our dough. I'm just gonna get it so it's a little coated around a little bit. Okay, and this will help it to not stick to the sides as well as not dry out. All right, and then we'll just cover it with a damp cloth and we'll let it rise for 1 hour to 1.5 hours or until it is doubled. Okay, the dough has finished rising and wow, look at that. It looks amazing. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take our dough out here and we're gonna divide it into 2 equal parts. And if you have more than that, meaning you have more than 2 of these pans, then go ahead and just divide it up. Like if I had 4 pans, then I would just divide it up into 4ths. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of flour, just a little bit of flour there, and we're gonna roll this out. Similar to if we were making cinnamon rolls. So let's go ahead and just roll this out. And we want the width of it to be about as wide as our pan. And then what we do is we take our cinnamon and sugar mixture and we're gonna go ahead and just sprinkle it on like that. Again, similar to cinnamon rolls. Okay, and then what we do is we're gonna just roll it up. Like that. And then we're gonna curl the ends down. And we're gonna take our pan and put it right in our pan. Seam side down. And then we'll do that with all of our bread. And then we're gonna cover it again with our cloth. And we'll let it rise for about 1/2 hour. Okay, now that our loaves have risen, what we do is we're gonna take an egg and we just want the white from the egg. So we're gonna separate the yolk from the egg. And you just break it in half. And use half of the shell to catch the yolk, like that. Let it run. And you can go back and forth like that. All right. And you can save that yolk and use that for something else. And now with our fork, or you can use a small whisk, let's go ahead and just give that a good whisk. Okay, so it's nice and frothy like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna baste the tops of these loaves of bread, and it'll make them so they get nice and brown on the top. Make sure to get down on the sides. We'll do this one. All right. And then we bake these at 375 for 30 to 40 minutes. It'll be nice and brown on the top and it'll sound hollow when you flick it onto that step. Yummy. When it comes out of the oven, it'll look like this. Smells super delicious. All right, our homemade cinnamon raisin bread is done. It smells amazing. My whole house smells like fresh homemade bread. Oh, I love it. Super easy to make. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm Matt Taylor. This has been another episode of In the Kitchen with Matt. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below and I'll get back to you. Take care. See you next time. Time for me to cut into one of these.